I'm Juan Montoya, writer, editor, and publisher of Rrun, an online newspaper, a blog, if you will. I hope all of you had a Merry Christmas, have a prosperous 2023. Even though the Cameron County Sheriff's primary election is a little over a year from now, candidates are already announcing that they want to replace incumbent Sheriff Eric Garza. Today, we talked to one of those candidates. He's Manuel Treviño, longtime lawman in South Texas and currently Chief of Police of Primera in Cameron County. Welcome, Chief.
Good morning, Mr. Montoya. I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much, sir.
Chief, it's no secret that the current office holder of the Sheriff's Department is over his head in running the department. Other candidates have said that they would seek to replace him. Tell us a bit about your law enforcement experience and state your case on why you would be the best candidate for sheriff.
For the past 31 years, I've been a law enforcement officer. I started my career in the city of Los Fresnos. Actually, Chief Johnny Cardoza, who to me is a huge role model, gave me the first opportunity to become a peace officer. During my career, I worked for the Los Fresnos. Then I was assigned to a narcotic unit back when the Governor Ann Richards was the governor here of the state of Texas. And I was there as a narcotic investigator for approximately about 6 years. Then I worked with the district attorney's office under Ms. Yolanda de Leon, still assigned to the narcotic unit. And then after that, I went to the sheriff's office. I was actually hired in 1998, I believe, or 99, by the late Mr. Omar Lucio at the sheriff's office. I was assigned there to the auto theft division. Then from the auto theft division, I was transferred over to the patrol division. A new administration came in, and I was transferred to investigations. During my years there as an investigator, I was able to rank up to sergeant and then up to lieutenant. During my years as a lieutenant of investigations, I was in charge of all the investigators, general type of investigations from homicide, sexual assaults, and white-collar crime.
Just about did everything.
Yes, about everything that would be in that type of investigations. Then after that, there was another change, and I ended up with the district attorney's office, again, assigned to a special narcotic unit under the command of Mr. Armando Villalobos. I was there for several years, I believe another 6 years. And then I went to go work for the city of Primera as a chief, which I've been there for 11 years.
So you've run from patrolman all the way up to investigator.
Yes, sir. I've been very blessed. During my, actually just this December 20th, I have been 31 years in law enforcement.
Okay.
Yes.
The jails have always been a problem for pest sheriffs. In fact, the current sheriff lost more than $3 million of his budget because the jails were not in compliance to house federal prisoners. He blames the county commissioners for not giving him enough funds to attract jailers. If you were in that position, how would your performance differ from the incumbent?
It's no secret that federal inmates do provide quite a bit of your budget. It happens in Cameron County, Hidalgo, and other counties. Everybody knows that. So it's extremely important to have federal inmates in your facility so they can help you with your budget. To be able to work with your budget, you need to work real closely with your county commissioners and your county judge. They are the ones that control your budget. So you have to be able to meet them halfway. You cannot cut that communication, especially when they are the ones that technically sign off your checks when it comes to your budget. So it's extremely important that you meet them halfway, that you reach out to them and try to work out something. And at the end, you might not agree in everything together, but you have to agree in what's in the best interest of your employees and in the best interest of your citizens that you represent in that office.
That's correct.
And again, federal inmates play a major role when it comes to budget for the jail. And I say that if the Lord blesses me with a victory, that is the first thing that I'm going to do is reach out to the federal entities and find out, okay, what is it that you need so we can start getting some of those federal inmates back. Even if it's 5 inmates, 10 inmates at a time, whatever number it is, but we need to start that revenue again and get those inmates back in there. They are a major revenue for the jail.
So your assignments or appointment of personnel for those particular departments or sections of the department is important.
It's extremely important that when you assign somebody to supervise a particular department, you have to make sure that that person is qualified to supervise those employees. In other words, you cannot put a sergeant who has been, let's just say, a sergeant of civil process, and now you're going to make him a sergeant of narcotic unit, but yet that sergeant has never worked narcotics. That itself is a very bad mixture. You have to make sure that whoever's going to supervise his employees, that he or she has done that type of work. That way he or she can correct any mistakes or can improve the department. But they have to have knowledge of that type of law enforcement. Law enforcement itself in general, as we all know it, for most of us that have been there all this time, over 30 years, it has different aspects to it. You have your patrol division, you have your civil process, you have your narcotics, you have your regular investigations, and then of course you have your jail. Okay, so you have to be able to delegate the person, and it's not so much based on, well, you know what, he didn't help me in my campaign, so I don't think he should be in that position. No, let's analyze the person, give them the opportunity to prove themselves and see if that person really deserves to be supervising that group. If not, let's move around and try to supervise another group. But you have to put the people in the right places. That's extremely important so that the whole department can operate correctly.
That's good. Correct. When Sheriff Lucio replaced Conrado Cantu, who was later convicted of corruption, he promised to bring back respect to the department. Right now, the performance of the current sheriff has brought much criticism to the department. What would you do differently to bring the department where Lucio left it?
One of the things that I do want to clarify is that when I started my campaign, I made it very clear that I was not going to disrespect anybody or go into the mudslinging. So I can tell you one thing. The way the current sheriff is running the department, in my opinion, that's how he believes it's the right way to run it. Now, that's his belief. My opinion as to how a department needs to be run is, first, you have to earn the respect of your employees. You have to earn it. And how do you earn it? By showing them that you can do the job. By showing them that, you know what, you're not just a number. You're an employee that, to me, I need you. I've always said that the sheriff's office is like a tower. Sheriff sits on top, and then you have your brass. But what holds the tower? The bottom part. And who's the bottom part of the tower at the sheriff's office? Your deputies, your dispatchers. Because you need to understand, when you happen to call 911, the first person you're going to speak to is not going to be the sheriff, or it's not going to be a captain or a lieutenant. It's going to be a dispatcher. And the first person that you're going to see at your house show up, rarely will it be a lieutenant or a captain or even the sheriff. It'll be a deputy. So those are the ones that you need to take care of. Because those are the people that show their first face for you on any call out there. That's extremely important. Now, you say about gaining back the respect. It's hard to actually analyze something like that because everybody has a different opinion as to what respect is. But for me, I went from a job as a law enforcement officer now to a passion. Because to me, it's a passion to serve the people of Cameron County.
Did you have that when you were growing up?
It actually, when I started my career, before I started my career at a very young age, I remember one time I told my mom that I wanted to be a police officer. Both of my parents are from Matamoros. And my mom was like, typical mom, no, that's too dangerous. You're gonna be probably like your dad. My dad was a shrimper all his life. Okay. 30 years he was a shrimper.
Why were we working out there somewhere?
And I told my mom no. So I always had this thing about law enforcement. And when I had the opportunity, that's when I went to the academy at night here at, it was TSC. They had the first police academy at night, and I immediately enrolled. And the day I would work, and at night I would go to the academy. And it started as a job, Mr. Montoya. From a job, it went into a career. And then before I knew it, it turned into a passion.
It's your life.
It's something that, and when I took my first job as a police officer in Los Fresnos, I'll never forget it, Chief Cardoza told me, do you realize that, I was working at that time with Metro Electric, do you realize that you're taking a pay cut? And do you realize that you're going to go deal with other people's problems for less money? And I said, yeah. And I remember he said, okay, then let's do it. And he gave me an opportunity. And yes, it became a passion. And as the years went on, especially I was so blessed to be able to do investigations, because that's where you get to see really justice for the people who can't speak for themselves, who have no idea that they can actually get justice. And that itself is so rewarding, to be able to close a case for somebody and say, you know what, we solved your crime, whether it be a violent crime or a stolen property. We recovered your property. To see the look in the people that they're like, you know what, somebody actually took the time to recover our stolen property. That itself is priceless. And for me, again, not to sound like a broken record, but yeah, it became a passion where I don't think I could do anything else. I remember I told my wife, I said, whenever I tell you that I retired, I said, make sure that you put everything that has to do with law enforcement away. I said, but right now I'm not ready. I want to give back to Cameron County, because Cameron County has given a lot to me and to my family. And I want to return that favor to them.
Well, if I could persuade you to maybe address our viewers and ask them for their support.
One of the things that I do want to let everybody from Cameron County know, one thing, is that if the Lord blesses me with a victory, or actually when the Lord blesses me with a victory, there's two things that I can guarantee the voters of Cameron County. You're going to have somebody there that's going to represent you with experience, with real working experience. And another thing is that you'll always have a friend for life. I'm the type of person that what you see is what you get. I will respect this badge and the uniform to the last day that I can wear it. And I understand the importance of that office, of the sheriff's office. And I understand that when you sit there as a sheriff, you represent the people.
Correct.
Because that office belongs to the people. It does not belong to the elected person. You just represent them. So you have to know what you're doing, and you have to represent them to the best of your ability.
Very good. That concludes our interview. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you very much, and everybody have a happy new year.